Hey, what's going on, social media world? Good. Microphone's on the right, correct side. Um, I was on an online dating app, social networking. That makes it sound so much better. I was on an online social networking app, and we'll just go with that. I was on, and I came across a profile, and in the person's profile, I came across two profiles that I want to talk about. And in the first person's profile, he said something to the effect of, "How can you?" And this is interesting. How can you tell someone that you that someone else is not your type when you don't when you still rent your place and you don't own anything? And I found that to be so interesting because it's like, do we really put that much value on material possessions? I mean, I understand that this statement is coming from somebody who was probably told that he wasn't somebody else's type. And so clearly it's coming from a position of somebody who's been, I guess, emotionally hurt by someone else, and perhaps coincidentally, also that person didn't have a lot of material possessions, material things. I can buy myself if I really want to. Just quoting Tamia, but that's not part of the video. Anyway, so I just found it interesting how we put so much value on material things and what somebody has and doesn't have. And that's not the point that I wanted to make. The point that I wanted to make is, just because someone doesn't have a lot of material possessions, do they not have a right to like what they like and not like what they don't like? Now, I'm not going to lie, some people are, and this is going to seem like it's contradicting my other videos that I've talked about, being open with your dating and stuff like that. But my question for the person who wrote that in their profile is, would you really be satisfied dating somebody who you were really attracted to and who you were really into, but realistically they only settled for you because they were just settling because they don't own their own home or drive their own car or have a good paying job or anything like that. So they were just settling for you because they wanted a sugar daddy. Sugar mama, mama, mia, sugar mama. Remember that song by Beyonce on the B-Day album? That album came out so many years ago. She was 25 years old when that album came out. That means I was 23 when B-Day came out. Wow. Wow, time flies. Anyway, whatever. But then after that, so that's my question for him. You know, would you really want somebody to just settle for you just because they feel, well, I'm not in a financial position that I can do better than you, so I guess I should just not be picky and just settle for you. You know, like that's just starting a relationship off wrong, you know. Maybe one day eventually I'll fall in love with him. Like back when they had arranged marriages and stuff like that. Maybe one day eventually we'll fall in love. You know, no, that's whack. You know, people like what they like. I think sometimes people have unrealistic and perhaps detrimental preferences in what they want in somebody, but that doesn't mean that they don't have a right to want what they want and like what they like, I guess. Just like they have a right to learn from their mistakes. If somebody has I'll just make something up. Let's say somebody has a preference for people with purple skin, and they only date people with purple skin. But the one for them was somebody with green skin. Then, and this is just a really basic, simple example, but then they end up missing the one for them, the one they were destined for, perhaps, because, or at least it didn't happen at the time it was supposed. It could have happened because of the fact that they were going through a phase that they only date purple-skinned people. So that doesn't mean that that person doesn't have a right to only date purple-skinned people, but when they learn from their mistake and don't end up, and sometimes I wonder if I'm talking to myself when I say this, but if they when they learn from their mistake and realize that they shouldn't have closed themselves off, hopefully for them it won't be too late to get that green person. But again, that doesn't mean that they don't have a right to experience that and learn for themselves, you know, however they feel, whatever their preference is. And maybe the right person for them is a purple person. Who knows, but that's just a simple example. Anyway, the second profile that I wanted to talk about, deuces, y'all, I'm gone. No, the second profile that I wanted to talk about was somebody who in their profile was explaining that they have baggage and they're bitter. And I hope I didn't just bite my nails on the video. I don't remember. Anyway, I don't do it. I don't do it as much as I used to. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But I want to discuss this concept of baggage and what I told the person, because I had to hit them up, and I was just like, I appreciate the fact that you're being honest in your profile about that. And this was a young person, which is interesting, like really young. Like, anyway, but a young person, like early 20s young. And like a little kid, because I'm so many years past that. I'm light years away from that. No, I'm kidding. But no, it was a young person, so it was interesting to see them talk about having baggage. And I said, I respect the fact that you admit that. And as human beings, from a psychological standpoint, because you get people who are just like, I only want to date people who have no baggage at all. I can't do baggage. I mean, if you have any baggage, we can't date, because I only want to date people who have no long-term memory and only have a short-term memory. That's why I don't want to date anyone who has any baggage. I only date people with short-term memories only. No long-term memories here. No, like that's nonsense. Human beings, from a psychological standpoint, the way that we survive is learning from our mistakes. If you touch the stove and you find out that it's hot and you pull your hand away and you learn from that mistake, that's good. If you touch the stove, you find out that it's hot, and you touch the stove again, and you touch the stove again, and you touch the stove again and again, that's not good, because that's going to burn your hand off. So it's not so much an issue of not remembering and just totally being like, I have no, like, I every relationship that I enter is a brand new relationship, and I carry absolutely no recollection of any of my past relationships. No, that's not good, because then you're destined to potentially make the same mistakes again. And one of the benefits, and I said this in the message that I sent to him, one of the benefits of being honest with yourself about learning your lesson from past events is not so much for the sake of, because you can take that to another extreme, and then it can become bad if you take your baggage to the place that you close yourself off to everybody. Like that can be detrimental. But if you take your baggage and use it in such a way that you can acknowledge when something's going the way that you didn't like it before, and since you've learned from that mistake when it happened before and the relationship had to end as a result, now you have knowledge of how to better express and communicate that issue that you're having and the fact that it is an issue. And you've had time to think about that issue. So even you are better equipped to deal with it yourself. Like maybe you dealt with it in the past and it's something that really bothered you and then, you had to break up as a result. But you've had time to think about it and you sort of realize, well, maybe I could have handled that differently as well. Maybe it could have gone another way. And then, like I said, you'd be able to better express your feelings, your thoughts on it, be able to say intelligent adult things like, you know what? I understand that the way that I feel about this situation might not seem to be the most logical, but from your perspective, but I appreciate and it might not be the most logical, but I appreciate your patience and understanding in dealing with this situation and understand that this topic is a sensitive topic for me, or this thing is something that's difficult for me to deal with, and I haven't yet worked all of that out yet. But instead of me blowing up and getting angry and end of the relationship, or you blowing up and getting tired of me and because you don't know what's going on and I've not communicated that to you, I'm just feeling some kind of way, you know, we're able to work through it together, and that's what's called being an adult. I think I might be wrong, but so for people to be like, I don't want to date, because I used to see stuff like that in people's profiles. Not so much anymore. So maybe that was like when you're like, I don't know, younger, I guess, if people sort of think that. Sorry. But it again, we're hardwired to learn from our mistakes, and that's the key. You have to learn, but you also don't want to let it hold you back. So take what you've learned and use it for the positive. Use it to allow yourself to better communicate your concerns in the future, so you don't have to just end the relationship on a huge emotional moment that you go through every time because you have no baggage and you never learn from your mistakes ever, because it's a brand new relationship every time with totally different people, because human beings never share similar traits at all. All human beings are 100% different, and that's true. But every single situation that you enter in life, there will be no similarities to any of them, ever, ever, period. And if you believe that, I've got a beach. Wait. I got a beach house I can sell you in Idaho. Since you think I don't love you, I just want you. We're cool enough to kick it. Oh, wait. So, I got a fighter jet. I don't get to fly it, but I'm lying down. You got me thinking about you. Oh, no, no, no. I've been thinking about you. No, 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 I've been thinking about you. Do you think about me still? Do you? Or do you not think so far ahead? Okay, anyway, that's my jam. Yes, it is. And it's good he put it on his Channel Orange album. Yay. Anyway, talk to y'all later. Peace. Be blessed.